What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. Every day, just about, I get asked questions as a YouTuber, whether on Instagram or a YouTube comment, people asking how to set up a statue collection, should they collect this, what shelving to use, this and that. And, I've made videos in the past about lots of different things on, certain aspects of setting up different things. But I'm going to give a quick guide on really how to get into statue collecting and become a collector. Now, first thing I would warn anybody before getting into statue collecting is immediately stop right now, run away. This is an addiction. It's very expensive. And yes, it does bring tons of joy and everything, but if I could go back and tell myself 8 years ago to never buy, I would have $400,000 more dollars and never know the joy. Sometimes it's better not to know the joy. Once you know it, though, you're stuck. So I partake, and now look at me. So just a fair warning, before you dive deep into getting into statue collecting, I would think twice about it. But if you have tons of money, sure. If you have the space, sure. Now, tons of money really varies because you don't have to be collecting $1,000 statues right and left. Most people don't start that way. I definitely did not. When I first started collecting, I started with $100 1/6 scale DBZ statues off eBay. And for the most part, when people ask, where to buy statues, eBay is definitely a place to buy them. Especially if it's aftermarket secondhand. Usually when you start collecting, you're looking to get a statue right then and there. You don't want to pre-order something and wait 2 years to get it. You want to get something now, and there's plenty of amazing statues already released. But the aftermarket, generally, it's going to be more expensive. And eBay is generally going to be your best bet if you want to buy something aftermarket. But first thing you need to know when you really get into collecting is finding a spot within your home that you can display these statues that's not going to be affected by children, specific animals, like a large dog, like a little puppy like this. He never does anything besides flip his toy up and down. But it needs to be a secluded area that's not going to be where guests are, because generally you don't want people knowing you have these super high-end things. I don't like letting guests in my statue collection. So you need to have a secluded area, I'll say, that can be shut off from the world, in essence, your own man cave. And then secondly, you got to choose the type of shelving you're going to do. Now, there is a ton of shelving. I've gone through a lot of them. I started out with IKEA stuff. This is called a Stuva. They no longer sell this, but they have Bestas, which is slightly less depth. But your typical collector starts out with these. They're made of wood. They're strong, secure, but they don't look the best, and they also provide limited display functionality on the inside. Top shelf is good. Inside, very limited. But they do have a wide variety of options. You also D-Tolf. A D-Tolf is a 69-inch glass shelf. This is a half D-Tolf, also called a curio. And this can fit, a 30-inch tall statue or 3 shelves at 9 inches each, basically. And then you have Maja cases, which are much more expensive. They take 12 months. They're not the most secure. They look pretty good, but I'm not the biggest fan. My most recent thing I've been getting into is these garage shelves. This is just a typical muscle rack garage shelf that I added black painter's tape to cover the ugly holes. I did a curtain fabric to cover the wood, and I made it look nice. Second thing you gotta do is get lighting. Lighting makes a world of difference. You want a well-lit room. You wanna have lighting inside your shelving because it makes it look much, much better, as you see. Much better with lighting. And then, so once you get your shelving set up, your lighting set up, then you gotta figure what statues you're gonna collect. Like I said, most people start with 1/6, and then eventually you start getting bigger and bigger and more expensive and more expensive. If you just wanna get straight to the best out there, by all means, do it. Although the problem with going straight to the absolute best is you won't be able to enjoy some of the lesser quality stuff to begin with. Like I would say start with maybe some 1/10 scale statues. They're great detail paint. They're reasonably affordable. They don't take up a lot of space. If you're very limited on space, which it seems like 99% of collectors have a very small room, I think 1/10 scales are a great size statue to collect. You know, if I had one tiny room, I would probably stick to a lot of 1/10s because there's tons of amazing 1/10 scale statues out there, and you can get a lot of them. As you see, you know, these are all 1/10s. Next from that, you got the 1/6 scale. Now, I don't have any 1/6 in here. It's all in my DBZ room because for the most part, I don't collect a lot of 1/6 anymore. The Zelda right here are diorama 1/6, you know, where it's like he's on top of something. So they're actually quite big. But this whole back wall is 1/6 scale. So 1/6 works great with detolfs. As you see, they all fit quite nicely and look really good in here. I've installed lighting. So 1/6 is nice, but you know, once you go to 1/6, you might as well go to 1/4. I like 1/6 when it's a diorama. If it's not a diorama, it's a single character, I don't quite enjoy it as much. So if you're gonna get a single character, I would say step it up to 1/4 or 1/3. So your 1/4, this is your typical 1/4. Anywhere from 18 to 24 inches, and you're looking at anywhere from $400 to $1,200. It really varies. They used to be much cheaper when I first started collecting, like $369. But now it seems like the average 1/4 is about $750 to $850 from Sideshow. From Prime 1, about $900 to $1,400 from Prime 1. And Prime 1, if you're unfamiliar with the statue companies, in my opinion, Prime 1 Studios is the best company out there. They have the best licenses, they make the best statues, they're the highest quality, and they're the ones that, when I get, I'm the most satisfied with. On this wall, all these top shelf are Prime 1 Studios. You know, this is Prime 1, that is Prime 1, and all these are different companies. Just Google Prime 1 Studios, and you can see I do recommend buying just direct from their website. You also have Sideshow Collectibles, who's a manufacturer, distributor, creator. They create a ton of statues. So check out sideshowtoy.com and find what interests you. Don't buy what others like, buy what you like. You know, I started collecting DBZ and Mortal Kombat. That's what I first started collecting because I love Dragon Ball Z. I remember running home as a kid at 3 o'clock, getting off the school bus, running home to go watch Trunks fight Frieza, and I absolutely loved it. My entire life has been based off Dragon Ball Z. I work out because I want to become a warrior like Vegeta. I want to transform into a Super Saiyan. Pretty much all my entire life is really based off Dragon Ball Z. I love it. And then Mortal Kombat, I remember playing a ton as a kid, and then even in my later teen years, playing MK9 religiously, MKX, MK11, but I would say MK Trilogy, MK9, and MKX were my 3 where I just was so obsessed with it. And I love the universe, I love the movies, I love the characters. So that's why I started collecting. And I have collected statues based off hype and what people said, and those are the statues I ended up selling. When it comes down to it, buy what you like, buy what genre you like. You know, I would say don't buy statues just because it's cool looking if you have no attachment to it, because then you're going to eventually sell it when you run out of space. Buy what you love. You know, I love Devil May Cry, especially Devil May Cry 5, and that's why I bought this Dante. I love Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, so I'm buying those statues because I love the video game, and, you know, having a statue to really remember, commensurate that video game and the love I had for it while experiencing it really is why I buy it. I bought these Warcraft not because of the video game, because of the movie. I love the movie. It's an amazing movie. And Zelda, one of my favorite games growing up as a kid. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, some of my favorite games. So buy what you like and love. Don't buy what others tell you to buy. Now, there is a lot of social media out there for statue collecting. There's Instagram, Facebook groups, YouTube channels. You may have caught me because of a recommendation or whatever. But there's definitely some good, bad, and ugly of all of the, you know, different social media platforms. So just be careful. And anytime you're buying something, make sure you do PayPal service so you can get protection, because that's generally the preferred method when buying statues. The second, you know, big thing I would say when you start getting into collecting, don't overwhelm yourself. I definitely did when I first started. I won't deny that. I bought way too much, way too fast, and don't get into debt. You know, buy what you can afford and make it so you can see each piece and you're going to be able to enjoy it. I see some collectors, especially in the DBZ community, that buy every single statue out there. They don't have space, and they're just thrown all over the ground on their bed. Oh my gosh. They put little PVC statues in front of giant resins. I see someone have this $2,000 Prime 1 Megatron, and then they'll put a 3Z Megatron right in front of it, blocking 80% of it. And I'm just like, why would you do that? I like adding little stuff to complement the statues. I got like these little busts, these proximity pieces, the cars. I think it looks great. But if I was to put an entire statue right here in Shockwave space, because technically there's space right here, that's just foolish in my opinion. It looks cluttered, it looks bad. You want to be able to display your statue collection reasonably so you can see all the different statues. You don't want to just shove as many as you can into a display, because then it doesn't look good, in my opinion. You want to make your displays look good and be classy, because that is why we're collecting. You go to a museum, they don't just shove everything they can to a shelf. Alexa, turn on movie statue room lights. I mean, if you have the means, I would say do custom made shelving, hire a contractor. Don't put too many statues. Never have statues blocking another statue. I hate that. I think it looks terrible. You need to reasonably space them out. The only time you should have a statue in front of another statue is like this, where they're a diorama actually connecting to each other. It's meant to be displayed like this, not each of them side by side. This one, they are meant to be like this, side by side. Nothing's blocking anything. But the most biggest thing I can really say is try to stick to lines and try not to stick to too many. It gets incredibly difficult when you collect absolutely everything you love in life. I do that, and it's very overwhelming. I have, when I first started statue collecting, it was just one little room upstairs. Then it became 2 rooms. And then 2 rooms went down to the basement, where I had 2 statue rooms down here. And eventually went 2 statue rooms to a theater room, and then expanded more in the theater room, and then took over the last 3rd bedroom down here, to where this entire man cave is truly nothing but statues in my basement. And so it's really just, I've taken over this entire basement, when in reality I probably should have just did maybe 1 bedroom in the theater room. But I definitely went way overboard. So I would say if I just stuck to like DBZ and Mortal Kombat, what I originally started collecting, I wouldn't have that problem, because there's limited. I'd probably, really just stick to my theater room for MK and 1 DBZ room, and that's it. I think that's much more manageable, much more affordable. But I ventured out into movie and video games and so forth. And in this room, I got Marvel, Lord of the Rings, Jurassic, Troy. So, I expanded into way too many. Don't follow my footsteps. Stick to 1 theme, 1 to 2 themes max, no more. 1 to 2 lines. I do recommend, if you're going to get a line, that you do get all pieces from the line. You'll be happier. Even if you don't like a piece as much, I still think you should collect the whole line. It looks better. Like imagine if you collected this entire line right here, but you don't like Black Panther for some reason, so you just didn't collect them. It would look terrible. It looks so out of place. In my opinion, you do have to complete a line when you start it. Same thing with my Lord of the Rings. I got every single Lord of the Rings statue, and I'm glad I did. Even though I don't like that Frodo or Galadriel nearly that much, it complements the other pieces, and it does look fantastic seeing them all together. Some people are against this. They say just buy what you like. I'm opposite of that. I say if you're going to get into a line, get every single piece from that line, because they complement each other, and it does look amazing when you display them together, like Blue and the Indoraptor. They're part of the Jurassic World line, the 1/6 line. I bought them both. They look fantastic. So I do believe in that. If you're going to start a line, lines don't have to be totally completed. Like when I started G.I. Joe, I just wanted Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I didn't care to get any other characters. So you can definitely do that. Like if you just wanted that Captain Iron Man, that is good. But if you're going to collect like 6 out of the 7, might as well just get the 7th, in my opinion. It just looks better. So definitely, I would say try to do that. Stick to 1 to 2 lines. Try to complete the lines if you're going to get the majority of the characters anyways. If you are going to do statue collecting, they offer payment plans, deposits. I generally just do deposits and then just put money aside in a statue savings account or my PayPal balance. I'll have like $5,000 in there reserved to pay for statues, for example. I don't see the reason of doing a payment plan and prematurely giving the company the money, when you could be earning some interest on it, or heck, you could even invest that in stocks for the time being and then withdraw it when you need the money for the statues. There's definitely no advantage to giving a company all the money in advance and then waiting 2 years for them to produce it. So I stick to deposits. I don't see the reason for doing any type of payment plans, but all to you if that's what you prefer. So, if you are going to get into statue collecting, definitely try to control yourself. It is a very addicting hobby. Once you get a piece, everything about it becomes super addicting. The opening of it, actually seeing it being set up, each individual piece, seeing it in your display, even the smell becomes very intoxicating. You just love it. And then the anticipation of getting your next piece and your vision. I do tons of Photoshops. How will this look? And, I've Photoshopped this Predator wall so many times, trying different variations, determining what I like best. And so it's very exciting to see, your projects come complete. Like I'm waiting on the big chap 1/3. And I can't wait to see how that's finally going to look right here. And so it's very, very exciting getting that next piece in. I just got notification that my Iron Man battle damaged Queen Studios bust is in customs and it's going to ship in the next few days. It's going to go right here. I am incredibly excited. I've actually had this paid off for a long time now. But imagine how awesome it's going to look having the Iron Man bust right there. It's going to look gorgeous. So I'm super excited. So statue collecting is definitely a very fun hobby. It can also be stressful, and there's pros and cons to really any hobby. But here's one nice thing. When you buy a statue, it's not like most other hobbies that you can't get your money back and once you buy it, it's yours forever. These things are limited edition. They generally hold their value and you can sell them pretty much for what you paid for, sometimes make money. Sometimes you might have to take a loss, but generally I find you even out or make more money at the end of the day when you sell your statues. When you're looking to buy a statue, I do say, look at the edition size, try to go for the exclusive. The exclusive generally has additional statue parts. So I always try to go for the exclusive because it has better resale value. Even if you don't care to display that part, it's better for resale because you don't know if in the future you're going to sell that piece. I watched a video of myself saying I will never sell this statue, and I sold the statue. So never say never. I'm telling myself now I'll never sell, my like Hulk bust or Hulk Buster or Thanos, but watch 2 years from now, I sell it because something else better came out I like more, and I needed the money and space. So always keep your boxes, never throw them away. They're custom fitted styrofoam, so don't throw away your boxes. Store them in your garage, under the bed, in the closet, wherever, under the stairs. Keep your boxes, go for the exclusive. And if you think you're overpaying for a piece, look at sold eBay listings. What does the piece typically sell for? So you don't want to pay, $3,000 for this Thanos statue when it generally sells for $1,200. Do your research before you buy a piece, especially if it's in the aftermarket. And do your research on a retailer, because not everyone is good. There's definitely retailers out there I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never doing business with them again. The seller that sold me Hulk, Wolverine, and Loki, they're absolutely horrible. And I'll be making a video about them shortly as soon as they've solved my situation, and warning you guys about them. So definitely do your research on the sellers, get references for people, and even retailers, get references, especially if it's an international one. But yeah, there's just so much to learn. It really is a process. So, definitely watch a lot of YouTube videos. That's what I first did when I first started collecting. I watched lots of YouTube videos. I went to forums. I researched a lot. I still don't think I'm an expert by any means. I'm still learning. I don't think anyone is truly an expert. There's always room for improvement and learning. But I am proud and happy of my statue collection. I think I've done a pretty darn good job. You know, others may disagree, but this is my man cave, and I'm the one in here every single day, not them. So do what you enjoy is what I'll say. Anyways, folks, I hope this may have helped you. You know, I'm always here trying to help collectors, you know, expand the community and whatnot. But let me know your thoughts and comments below. Any other suggestions you guys have out there for people new to collecting and just trying to really get into this hobby? Because sometimes that can be very difficult getting into a new hobby. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.